Well, good evening to everyone who's been watching the match with such bated breath, because today marks the 47th match of the T20 World Cup in 2024, where India takes on Bangladesh at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. But before we dive into today's clash and excitement, let's look at yesterday's thrilling encounter between England and South Africa. Of course, South Africa batted first, setting a target of 163 runs. England took the match down to the wire, needing 14 runs of the last over, but ultimately fell short, giving South Africa a narrow 7-run victory. Earlier this morning, the host team, America, and the West Indies face off. America posted 128 runs, which West Indies chased down comfortably, losing just 1 wicket in the process. Now, we have an important match, but let's talk about what happened last night. I've got two of the important panelists with me. Noel David was definitely rooting for one of the two teams. We'll find out whether his prediction was accurate. And we have a good-looking, in a new hairdo, Tanmay Mishra, who joins us from Kenya. Well, Noel, let me start off with you. How was your prediction yesterday?
I think I got it right. Got it wrong yesterday because we all watched for England, and surprisingly, the way that the South Africans played, I think they nail-biting finish. They pulled it up. We all thought they would choke at the end, but at the end, the England got choked. I think they bowled well, they batted well, they fielded well. I think the catch of Brooks,
yes,
what Makram took, I think that was the turning point. As Brooks was, batting well, he was almost there to see England off the boundary line in a victory zone. But unfortunately, it was the other way around. South Africa pulled it out by 7 runs. I think if I say in one thing is that the way the Africans played, I think they are the intent, their attitude is to pass that semi-finals and get into the finals.
Well, very interesting point you said, that their intent is to go out, look for victories. Noel, does it remind you of another team which is going to take on today, which is India? I mean, is South Africa also coming up in all the departments like the Indian team is?
Of course. If you see, yes, during the league phase, they won the close encounters against Nepal and other teams. But once the Super 8 came, they entered, the body language, everything has changed. You see the important players started to perform. De Kock getting his second consecutive 50, everyone chipping in, Makram, Carlson, everyone are coming into their form. I think this is these Africans what we expected from day one.
That's right.
As soon as, the Super 8 came, they started to peak their performance. They peaked the game. Everyone started to contribute. The bowlers already were doing their duty. They started to perform more than what their ability is. The main batsmen are coming into form. So I think overall they are coming as a team and peaking at the right time, and that is dangerous for other teams because these guys can really be that team which can climb any Mount Everest.
Tanmay Mishra, welcome to the show. What has been keeping you busy?
I can't hear you.
Tanmay, if you can, Tanmay, if you can hear our voice, do you think from now on, from here onwards, it'll be a little difficult for teams like USA, Bangladesh, / Afghanistan?
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to our viewers. I think so. I did expect, some of the quality that the Group A has in terms of bowling. But the sort of professionalism India and Australia have shown so far, they haven't shown any sign of, any immaturity at this stage. They've been very professional, and some of the execution so far from these two sides have been remarkable. So yeah, somewhere down the line, I think it's a bit of a uphill task for these guys, especially USA, because it's their first time. And speaking about Bangladesh and Afghanistan, I just felt that somewhere down the line, the quality in the batting, that we wanted to see. It's not that it's not there, but they've been outdone by some really quality bowling. Jasprit Bumrah has been exceptional, and you look at Pat Cummins the other day. Rabada. There's some quality bowlers up there, and the thing is they all have their A game. They've come with their A game, so it is a bit of an uphill task for these sides.
Well, it is an uphill task, and again, we will talk about the Indian match a little later in the program. But for now, what impressed you in yesterday's match between South Africa and England? Because they were like head to head, and it actually, as Noel said, it went down to the wire. And I think it was the matter of 2-3 deliveries that turned the needle on to South Africa. Otherwise, it was all even. Tanmay Mishra?
Look, through our medium, sir, we did speak that the best chance South Africa has to get one over England is to bat first. And we've been continuously saying, we've spoken about St. Lucia being a 200 wicket, but the fact that it's been overused or continuously used, you saw it slow down. Now, I've continuously kept saying that, these wickets, because the games are coming so thick and fast, they don't have much time to prepare. So somewhere down the line, in a game of 40 overs, you might just get 30 good overs on a good track. That's what we saw, after Quinton. The difference between two sides yesterday was Quinton de Kock's power play batting. That's it. There were 10 overs around, close to 80, 85 runs. I thought at one moment they'll get close to 190, 200, but you could see the wicket slowing down. And, if it wasn't for that Quinton de Kock's power play innings and David Miller's, fantastic batting, I don't think so. South Africa would have got to 160. I thought, honestly, England would have, chased it. But to see Maharaj, the way he bowled, and the wicket just kept getting slower. You've got to also understand the first two wickets that England that lost. That was just not good bowling. That was exceptional catching. We've spoken so many times about the games of margin. And you saw that South African side over the last 2 decades, or better part of 3 decades, has been known for its fielding, the likes of Jonty Rhodes, A.B. de Villiers, Herschel Gibbs. And that sort of aura has carried on to this team. We saw Makram take that catch of Brooks. But it was the first 2 catches for me that really changed the game. When it's a total as small as this, or, chaseable total, it's these little things that make the difference.
Well, of course. Noel David, you've seen this pitch very closely at your previous playing days. Just want to ask you, Tanmay made a very interesting point that the more the pitches are going to be used here, the slower it becomes. Just for the sake of our fans out here, if you can explain the nature of the pitch and how does it slow?
Tanmay has rightly nailed it. Because Tanmay and myself, we were telling if you see like India, where we get 7 to 8 pitches there on the ground, but here, because of the grounds being small, they I think hardly have 3 to 4 pitches which they can keep shifting the games. All right, but here they keep using it, because of the games which are back to back, where they don't get that time to prepare it for the other games. The problem here it lies when it comes is because of the reuse of the surface, the wickets becomes a bit dry. It starts to break down as the match progresses. The little bit of the dryness comes out. The wicket becomes a sandy type, so it becomes hard to play the bowlers. It stops and comes. It grips it turns, it bounces. So that's what you could have witnessed yesterday's game, where Maharaja was bowling. You could see the turn. You could see one out bouncing also, where it was difficult for the batsmen to go after him.
Noel, we are joined by Fawad Ahmed, the Australian cricketer who's played a lot at the Caribbean Premier League. Fawad, welcome to the show. We're discussing about the nature of the pitch in Caribbean, and since you played there on 3-4 seasons in the Caribbean Premier League, What do you make of the pitches? Are they getting closer to India-Pakistan kind of strips, or are they completely different?
Well, I agree with Noel. Yeah, he said, it's they getting tired quickly because and they don't have enough time to get ready, and there's a lot of traffic on it as well. So it get really tired. Well, it's gripping, but it's not gripping. It's like a more like it's a muggy condition there as well, and it's become a little bit tacky. So the true nature of the wicket they're losing every single day. The problem where it comes sometime in India and Pakistan, the ball is spinning, even in Australia as well, if you go to Sydney, but still the ball comes on the bat nicely. But over there, it's a different story over there because you play back-to-back games, as he said, and there are only, even if you're using the same wicket, the other wickets are exposed to a lot of traffic as well. When you're playing game, there is people, there's the spikes there, the batsmen running on those wickets, but when you make them ready because you don't have enough time, so they're getting tired as well. So yeah, when the tournament progress, it's gonna get more tacky, and that's how we play CPL as well. So they play CPL like in a different island at a time. So there's like a 1 week carnival in a different islands, and we go there and then we play, and we go there play in a different venues. And we usually play at the, I think at Brian Lara Cricket Stadium in Trinidad. So where we played the finals over there, so fresh wickets over there. Usually the finals are pretty good over there because they're using the fresh wickets. But elsewhere where they play back-to-back games, all the teams are going there and to play. Same happened now in the World Cup as well because it's a lot of games. And when they play back-to-back games, that's what happens.
Now turning our attention to today's highly anticipated match between India and Bangladesh. India enters this match with confidence, having won their first Super 8 game against Afghanistan, while Bangladesh is looking to bounce back from the defeat against Australia. India currently sits in the second place on the points table with 2 points, whereas Bangladesh is in the fourth place with 0 points. Historically, India has dominated Bangladesh in the T20 format, winning 12 out of the 13 matches since 2009. In the last 5 encounters, India has won 4 of the matches compared to Bangladesh 1. The Indian team remains undefeated in this World Cup and is eager to maintain the winning streak. Noel David, how important it is to maintain the winning streak, especially in a World Cup situation?
It is quite important, is because it keeps your momentum going. It keeps your high confidence high. Your game also keeps getting better and better. I think the Indian team is doing an excellent job by doing this. They are having the game at the highest level. I think each individual has given a role to play, and they are doing it with their magnificent skills which they have in them. I think each and every one are producing their performance at their best, and they know what they are ahead in this tournament. They know they have to play teams which can beat them at their given day when they play the best cricket. I know they have the Australians, they have the Bangladeshis. These two teams, they need to get past to get into the semi-finals, and I think Rahul David and team are working on that.
Tanmay Mishra, you've seen this is the first time in the last a decade or so where the Indian openers haven't crossed 50 mark in consecutive over 10 games. Do you see Yashasvi Jaiswal somewhere paratrooping inside the team? Just an outside chance.
Sunil sir, we've discussed this question a few times. We've spoken about the pattern and, the think tank, what they think and how they want to approach it. I don't genuinely believe there is a chance for, Jaiswal to have a look, because unless there's someone injured or unavailable, they're going to stick with Rohit and Virat Kohli. I know the mindset. We've seen Rohit time and time. He's not going to change anything in the top order. It's pretty simple. If there is, the question for me, the real question we should be asking ourselves is, why isn't Rinku Singh in the 15? Because the only loophole, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but the only debatable question over here could be a middle order batsman. For someone like Dubey, who still hasn't, it's his first big tournament and he's still not able to strike it. Those are the questions they'll want to be asking themselves as to, do we need to change him? But they don't have a middle order batter, So that's the only thing. As far as Virat Kohli and Rohit go, I don't think so. Anything's going to change.
Are you also, Tanmay, are you also referring to the lack of performance by Jadeja in the middle order?
You see, Sunil sir, the way this team is shaped, Jadeja and Akshar Patel's role is to fill those 5 to 8 balls, and we saw Akshar Patel do it brilliantly. It was his 12 runs, or I think 14 or 15 runs of the last over, which he got 12 of, was brilliant. So their role is not as big as, Surya Kumar Yadav or Dubey's is. Yeah, Shivam Dubey's. That's the issue. The concern over isn't Jadeja or Akshar Patel. The concern is sometimes what happens when we were about 80 for 4 and we needed, Dubey to come good. And, in 3-4 games, and I'm pretty sure he'll be continued to back. There is a reason Rohit's not someone who will change it overnight. But that's a question they will be thinking about, should we change it? But we don't have anyone in the middle order to swap because Rinku Singh is in the reserve. So, more or less, that's the debate, I think. As far as Jadeja and Akshar Patel's questions are, I think they're playing their role. They're there as all-rounders. They're there to bowl a couple of overs and maybe the last 10 balls to to contribute. And they've been doing that role so far. I know Jadeja hasn't come off well, but I don't see any reason why he would be able to do it in the future games.
Absolutely. That's an interesting point to see.
Can I
yes, absolutely. No, of course.
See, to adding to Tanmay and to your question, if the management is not looking at Jaiswal at present, for an example, they may look at Sanju Samson as an opener.
Good point.
Why? Because the conditions are just like what he plays back at home in Kerala. Let me put this very clearly. They may give him an opportunity to open the innings along with the, Rohit Sharma, because he is very good at that slot and he is very good at these wickets when he plays back at home.
David Bhai, Sunil sir, I just want to throw a question to David Bhai and everyone. What do you think about Sanju batting at number 5 then?
I think that's an.
I don't think. Yeah, that's a debatable question, Tanmay. But if they are not looking at Jaiswal, I said because Sanju can open. Sanju has opened at Vijay Merchant and all that, and at Mushtaq Ali also for his state team. And I think they, Rahul, knowing it, may think will have a question mark in his mind. Will put that question mark in Rohit's mind, asking whether we can take a chance with Sanju Samson or not.
Fawad, let me get you. You're the independent voice here. You've been watching the Indian team development and everything. Do you see that there is a need to change the top order considering the big guns that we have and shift a little bit rather than change, just shift a little bit? Do you think on a surface like West Indies, we should take that, and considering that we have a match with Bangladesh today, do you think this is the right moment or we should not tamper? Your views?
Well, if I'm in the think tank, I won't change anything because they're winning.
Yes.
Plus, you get the experience of Rohit and Kohli is amazing because, and they're big match players. They know they will deliver. I think they will definitely deliver. Been playing cricket for a long time, and it happens to those guys, But the conditions are completely different. They came from the IPL. There were high-scoring games. There was absolute highways everywhere in India. And they came to where the ball is gripping, not coming on the bat, it's spinning as well. Even playing against a really good fast ball is really hard. Look at how Cummins has been bowling, how Jasprit Bumrah has been bowling. It's amazing, because these wickets are really supportive for the bowler. So I think they would gonna go and change anything because they're already winning. And you need someone senior on the ground as well. It's not about just the young boys. Yeah, as you said, I think Samson coming up as an opener, might be a really good idea because he can carry on the way where he plays, his background, and he can adopt the condition quickly than anyone else. And I think he might, because on these wickets you cannot just come and just start hitting sixes. So if he's batting a little bit later on, if he's getting only less balls, I think it's going to be getting harder for him as well. So I think if they might change a little bit in the orders, maybe in the game, the one they are going with the 11. But I think I don't see anyone else coming, because if they failed, there's going to be a lot of.
Well, very interesting point. Fawad, I'm going to stick with your point of view for a minute. What do you think of the spin bowling between, when you do vis-a-vis between the Bangladesh and India? I mean, let's talk about spinning department, because that's usually overlooked in a T20 format. Your views? All right, I think we've got some technical problem. Tanmay Mishra. Tanmay Mishra, I'm going to push out onto you. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Look, both this guy from Bangladesh, Rishad Hussain,
Yes.
that leg spinner, tall leg spinner, he's the one creating a few waves. I've seen him bowling. You know, this is the first time Bangladesh has got a leg spinner, tall, lanky leg spinner who hits. You know, he gets good reps. I think he's a promising sign. But as far as the quality of spin is concerned, I genuinely believe both sides have, you know, experience in, you know, you've got in Bangladesh Shakib. There is also Mahmudullah who can come and roll a couple of overs if you've got two left-handed Indian batting in the top order. But as far as quality goes, I genuinely believe India has got the better quality spinners. You can see in Akshar Patel, you know, Kuldeep Yadav. We did speak on this
Yes.
forum that when the wicket is turning, will Kuldeep play? And he did play. Siraj was a tactical. It's not that he's not bowled well. Siraj has been exceptional, but that's how the Indian tank thinks. You know, if the wicket is slow, they got Kuldeep in. And, you know, Jadeja did his overs. He bowled 2 overs. Akshar bowled 2 overs. So it's a very, you know, I'm really enjoying this Indian team where, you know, everyone's putting their hands up when it's important. I do believe India has the better quality spin, though. And mind you, Yuzvendra Chahal has not been looked at. You know, someone who's regularly been, you know, top IPL wicket getter for so many seasons, consistently doing well. So, yeah, India's got a very quality bowling lineup.
Very interesting point you said. The highest wicket taker in the T20 spin department is actually cooling his heels in the dugout. Fawad, happy to have you back. Hope the technology is better now. Fawad, what do you make of...
Australia are going to stay there in the tournament till end. So if you think you keep kicking me out, you know, from the Zoom, so Australia are not going to get out like that, okay? They will carry on and they will get to the final. So you make sure, you know, you just, you're doing your own thing, you know, but it's not happening. Now, I think in my personal point of view, I think the wrist spinner is very important, you know, like, it's not about that I have been very successful, but I think the wrist spinner they are very effective in Caribbean. Kuldeep is exceptional. He's been really good last couple of years because the way he's improved his pace variation. He got all the variation already before, but his pace variation is amazing now. He bowled with a really high pace now, but the subtle variation is very important, especially for the wrist spinner. It's changing now. Look at Zampa especially, you know, he does subtle variation. He's not a big turner. He does spin the ball a little bit on both sides, but it's subtle variation in the pace. If you look to his stats, you know, from 85 to 90, from 85 to 80, he just does those ones, not from 80 to 90. Kuldeep was like that before. He was bowling around 80, 82 kilometers, and then he used to bowl the quicker one in the 90s, and that's now is helping him because he's bowling in the late 80s now. And the subtle variation really helping him, and it's really, really hard. When I said, you know, the wickets are taky, it's a different known. He might knows better a little bit, you know, they played on the top level, but when it's a little bit taky, you have to work really hard as a batter to play short. When the finger spinners comes, it's a little bit different, but if the ball is spinning both ways, you know, you don't know. Even if the night games, you know, you might be not aware much, but the lights aren't that great over there in the Caribbean, where it's making it hard, especially if you go to Queen's Park in Trinidad. That one light, just you get even the shadow of the stadium inside the ground, and it's really hard to see like the revs on the ball, you know, unless you pick it from the hand. So I think the wrist spinner is important, and yes, I think there is definitely have edge on the Bangladeshi spinners. But if the wickets are getting slower and harder, the matches are getting closer because it's gonna favor more the team. They are not that good in the batting and bowling because the actual batting side, the good batting side, they're gonna struggle on the tough wickets, and the match is gonna be a little bit closer, like what we have seen in US, especially at New York.
Well, that wasn't Professor Fawad. He was, we're talking about the cricketer Fawad, who's explaining so lucidly about his experience of playing in Caribbean. I would like to also thank Tanmay Mishra and Noel David, three of the international players coming together, sharing their thoughts, ideas and their reading of the game, not only about the game that has happened till yesterday, but also going on from here.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.